Hi everyone! Thanks for joining us for this tutorial, Getting Started with Mailchimp, How to Set Up Templates and Campaigns. My name's Kayla, and along with my teammate Nicole, we'll be your host today.
Hey everyone! During this era of social distancing, we know how important it is for businesses to have a digital presence to connect with their customers. Everyone here at Mailchimp is currently working from home, Kayla and I included. So, just a heads up, you could hear a dog barking or some other ambient noise. We really appreciate your understanding and patience while we do our best to figure out this new work setup. Let's take a look at the path of our learning journey today. We'll revisit this slide throughout the tutorial to show you how far we've progressed and what's coming up next. We'll start by walking you through a few slides to get you familiar with key terminology around templates and campaigns. Then we'll head into the app, where we'll first introduce you to our Content Studio, a tool for storing your images and files in Mailchimp.
We'll also walk you through the types of templates that you can set up in Mailchimp, and then go step by step through the creation of a template using our drag and drop editor. Then we'll show you how to take your branded template and quickly and easily turn it into an email campaign. And while we'll mostly focus today on email, we will introduce you to an overview of the other types of marketing campaign options that you can set up within Mailchimp. Additionally, as we get into creating a template and then sending a campaign, we'll pause to cover some of the most common questions our customers have asked about those topics.
If you're in need of technical assistance at any point, we recommend navigating to our website at mailchimp.com/help. This is where you can find a free help center for all customers to access.
And so with all of that being said, we're going to get started on our learning journey here with those key terms to know. When you design an email campaign in Mailchimp, you'll begin with a template. Templates are preset layouts that you use to build an email campaign. Your templates should include elements that you want to carry over and reuse again. These include recognizable elements of your unique brand, things like your logo or a footer with your brand's social icons. This helps to maintain consistency across your messages.
If there's a type of email you're sending on a regular basis, like say a monthly newsletter with important updates, we recommend you create and save a template. Whenever you want to send out a newsletter, you'll simply select the template you created and add in your new content.
We know that you're busy, and templates help you save a ton of time and a ton of effort so that you can focus on what matters, connecting with your audience and growing your business.
Moving on, next up, what is a campaign? A campaign is any content that's created, distributed, and measured through Mailchimp. These campaigns are ways to share marketing content with your audience, whether it's a monthly newsletter or an upcoming sale. Most people think of campaigns and immediately think of email, but campaigns also include recurring email series called automations, landing pages, ads, and more.
Before we move on, let's go ahead and talk about the difference between templates and campaigns. A template is a framework to be filled in, and a campaign is the end result that you'll share out with your audience. Let's go ahead and show you what this looks like visually.
So on the left, you can see a template we've chosen for a newsletter. There are spaces to add content and upload photos. If we then edit the template with unique content, it'll turn into a campaign that you can see on the right here.
As you can see, all of the monthly content for the newsletter has now been filled in. So next month, we could start with the same template and then upload new photos and text. This will help to keep the look and feel of the campaigns consistent and helps to build brand recognition for your customers.
Now that we know the difference between templates and campaigns, we want to cover a few additional terms to know when setting up campaigns in Mailchimp. Your audience is a place for you to collect and manage your contacts in Mailchimp, and a contact is someone whose email is stored in your audience. A contact's email marketing status determines what kind of content you can share with them.
Let's take a moment and dive into these different contact statuses a little bit more. Statuses for contacts can include subscribed, unsubscribed, non-subscribed, cleaned, and archived. A subscribed contact is one that's opted in to receive marketing, while an unsubscribed contact has opted out of receiving marketing. Someone who's non-subscribed is a contact who has interacted with your business but hasn't opted in to receive marketing. For example, they may have purchased something from your store, but they didn't sign up for your newsletter. A clean contact has a non-deliverable email address. You may know of these addresses as those that have hard bounced or repeatedly soft bounced. And lastly, archive contacts are ones removed from your audience. They don't count towards billing, but their data is retained in your account.
So let's take a moment to go over some key takeaways to remember from all of these terms. First, Mailchimp is an all-in-one platform that helps you share emails, ads, and other messages with your audience of contacts.
We call these messages campaigns. So just remember, campaigns can be emails, postcards, automated messages, landing pages, and more.
The people whose information you store in Mailchimp are known as contacts. Contacts can have different status types. These statuses determine which campaigns they're eligible to receive and whether they count towards your plan's monthly contact limit.
We'll be creating a template as well as using that template to send out a regular email campaign a little bit later on in this tutorial. It's important to note in Mailchimp that regular email marketing can only be sent to your subscribed contacts who have given permission to be marketed to.
Let's revisit our learning journey. We laid some groundwork around definitions, and now let's move on to our content studio before we dive into types of templates and how you can create one in Mailchimp. Let's head into the app. To add content to your templates, you'll use a tool called the Content Studio. It makes it easy to organize your files, images, documents, and product images so you can easily add them into your campaigns. When you log into your account, the first thing you're going to see is your audience dashboard page. To access the Content Studio, we're going to click into the Brand dropdown, and from here, select Templates.
If you have a new Mailchimp account or you haven't created a template yet, this area will be blank in your account. Once you've started setting up templates, this page is where you can find an existing template that you want to work with or create a brand new one.
On this page, you'll see the Create Template button here and the Content Studio button next to it. You can also access the Content Studio by clicking Brand again in our top navigation menu bar, then Content Studio from the dropdown. Let's go ahead and click that.
So here we have the Content Studio. In this top right-hand corner, you'll see Upload. You can upload many types of files, including PDFs, which are usually pamphlets or other printed materials, JPEGs, which are typically image files, or MP3s, audio files.
Or you can select the dropdown over here and import a file from a URL.
So let's say that you find a stock photo online that you've obtained permission to use. If you copy the URL of that image file, you can then paste it right here and use that image in a campaign.
Now let's talk about those tabs over here on the left-hand side. First up, My Files. This area contains your images, documents, and files that you've uploaded to the Content Studio. Later on in this tutorial, we'll be able to access all of these images to then insert into a template or campaign. So next up, products. If you sell items online and have connected your online store, Mailchimp will pull those product images in right here.
Now, just as a heads up, if you don't have an e-commerce site connected to Mailchimp currently, you won't see any product images here. So just be aware of that if you aren't seeing any in your own Content Studio.
Let's next move on to Giphy. If you're looking for a fun way to share an announcement or sale, animated GIFs are a great way to add some more vibrance to your campaigns. Here, you'll see a searchable Giphy library where you can find the GIF that best suits your needs.
For example, if we search Mailchimp, you can see some of the awesome GIFs our own social team has created right here. All right, moving on. Next, let's click into Instagram. If you've connected your Facebook page and your Instagram account in Mailchimp, you'll be able to pull in images from your account directly into this content studio. Then you can easily add them into a campaign right from here.
And last up, My Logo, where you can set your default logo. The image you choose will appear anywhere you have a logo placeholder in templates and campaigns. We haven't set ours yet, so we're going to take a moment to do this. If we click back to My Files, we can select an image to work with to make our default logo. And we think our square, transparent logo right over here is going to work well in our campaigns. So once selected, we can use this drop-down menu next to View Details and select Set My Logo. All right, so now this default logo is going to appear in our templates and campaigns going forward. Up next on our learning journey, we're going to be building a template together in the app. So in order to do that, we're going to leave our Content Studio and jump right into designing a template. We're going to do that by clicking back into Brand and then selecting Templates. Once we're here, we're going to then select the Create Template button in the top right-hand corner of the page. These templates use our drag and drop editor, so they're mobile responsive and allow you to easily change the look of your email campaign to suit your needs.
Just as a heads up, depending on your pricing plan, you may not be able to access all of the templates we're about to cover. If you're seeing something a little bit different in your own account, that could be why.
Let's talk through the template options we're seeing here. The first option you see in the Layouts tab is for featured templates.
A featured template is a great choice when you know what you need your email to do, but you aren't sure about how to design it yet. Whether you're promoting a new product, sending a survey, or making a special announcement, we recommend these templates if you're starting out or you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed designing a template from scratch.
Let's go ahead and select a featured template. Say we want to promote some products we're launching this fall. We choose the Sell Products option.
This template will tell you exactly what content to include in order to get your message across. From here, you would just choose the right content blocks. And content blocks are elements of an email like images, text, buttons, and other blocks that you can drag and drop into your campaign and then customize. When you use Mailchimp's drag and drop editor, you'll see a variety of content block options, which you can see right over here on the right-hand side of the screen.
Keep in mind, we'll be walking through setting up a template from scratch in just a bit, or I'll show you how to use these content blocks to create your templates. Let's click back to our template options page and scroll down to basic templates. Basic templates are a blank template layout you can add your own content to. Now, these templates give you endless possibilities, and they're a blank slate that can be fully customized.
You can see that there are a couple template styles available in the Basic tab. There's regular, and then there's full width. The difference, as you can see, is that full width takes up more visual space in your email.
There are also several different types of basic template options depending on your preferred width and number of columns. All of these icons are a visual representation of how the template is laid out.
For example, if you're trying to keep things really simple with a few images and text that can be read one after the other when scrolling down, a one-column template would work well. If you're planning to organize your email in columns and showcase images and text side by side, a layout with more columns like this 1-2 or this 1-3 would work well in that case. These are just suggestions, and it's really up to you to choose a template that you like the best.
We'll be creating a basic template together in just a minute, but before we do that, let's go over the other template options available.
So scrolling up, let's go ahead and select themes from this tab right here. These pre-designed themes offer a number of categories to choose from, like newsletters, e-commerce, holidays, sports, and events.
These templates are similar to featured templates. They show you exactly what to include, but instead of including blank content blocks, they have actual examples of content already in place.
For example, if we click into this sale announcement template right here, you'll see that the header image is already provided, and there's going to be several content blocks with styling already there. If we give it a moment to load, we'll show you exactly what these look like. As you can see, the header image, and then you'll see that there's this follow us on Instagram section and the shop sale button.
Although theme templates also utilize our drag and drop editor, they were created by designers with specific elements in mind, so some editing options may not always be available. Let's go ahead and click back one more time.
Lastly here, you can see code your own from the template options menu. If you or a member of your team is savvy with hand coding emails, code your own templates are your best option for the most customization.
So now that we've covered the types of templates that Mailchimp offers, let's go ahead and create one together. We're going to select Layouts in the menu and then scroll back down to Basic Templates. And I'm going to select the one column template option. Great, so now that we've chosen our template, it's time to design it.
What you're looking at right now is the design editor. As a reminder, our template design is on the left, and you can see all of these different content blocks that we have to choose from on the right, as we saw a moment ago in previous templates. As you can see here, there's some placeholder text, as well as our default logo, which we set in the Content Studio.
You can drag and drop a variety of content blocks into your layout, rearrange them to customize the look and feel, or delete them if they're not working for you.
So watch, I'm going to hover over this content block in the editor right here on the left, and then we're going to select this arrow icon that you'll see. Now, if we want to drag and drop it into a different section of the email, this is just how you would move it. So you would just select it and then move to the desired section. Moving on, let's now talk about some of the content block options that we see here on the right-hand side of the screen.
You'll notice you have a few different image options. These blocks include image, image group, image card, and image and text. So let's select image and drag and drop the block into the template. You can then select the Browse button to add images that have already been uploaded to your Content Studio.
If you don't have the image that you want in your Content Studio yet, remember you can always import new images at any time.
So I'm going to select this image of a plant here and then click Insert to add it into the template. Now that the image has been added, we can easily resize it. You can use this image display slider to find the right size for your image. Perfect. When you're working with a content block, and in this case it's an image, you're going to see editing options on the right side of your screen. At the top, there are some options you can toggle between. If you select Style, you can see that we can add a border to the image. Let's just do that real quick. And with settings, you have some options around image alignment, like centering the image, for example. Depending on the type of content block, the Style and Settings menu will show some different options.
Awesome. So I'm loving our image. I like the border that we put on it. So let's go ahead and hit Save and Close. But we're not done yet. If we want to play around with this image some more, we can always just click on the photo to relaunch the image content block options. You'll notice that there's additional options below the image file name right here. If this image isn't the right one, you can select Replace to choose another one. Or perhaps you want your photo to link to a certain page on your site. You can add the URL right here by selecting Link. So let's have it linked to our own website. Then we'll just click Insert. Now, if you want to do some more advanced editing, you can select Edit right here to launch the photo editor. And we'll give this a moment to load.
So the photo editor is a tool for you to crop, resize, flip, or rotate an image. You can do that all in here. Just note that if you'd like to crop the image, you'll see a checkbox at the bottom left to lock dimensions. Click to uncheck that box if you'd like to be able to resize only the height or only the width of the image, instead of resizing the whole image at once, which is the default. Choosing the next icon, you can see that you can also choose from more than 60 different image filters. There are several additional editing options available in this menu to really make your image pop. So find the ones that work for you and go ahead and apply those changes.
And once you've made all your edits, always be sure to hit Save to move on. Let's go ahead and talk about text now. If we close out of this block, on the right, you'll see the text block options, such as the regular text block or box text. This template already has a text block right here, as you can see, with all of the sample text. So let's just go ahead and click into that. Now, if you write your copy outside of Mailchimp and then copy and paste in text, styling can get a little lost in translation. What this means is that changes you made to the text, like bolding or italicizing, for example, may not always show up. To make sure all of the styling you want is applied correctly, your best bet is to always work directly in our editor.
Just to give a little more context, each time you create content in a text editor like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, hidden code is added to your document to make it look nice on the screen. If you then paste that content into a new email campaign, the hidden formatting can change the way your email looks in Mailchimp and also in email inboxes.
Yeah, exactly. It's always the best practice to work directly in our text editor. However, we do understand copying and pasting external text may be necessary.
So if you do need to copy and paste in from an outside source, we recommend using this Paste from Rich Text Editor tool to get your content into Mailchimp. This tool removes code that often interferes with how your text displays. After the old formatting is removed, you can apply new text styles in each text block. And we know this button is very small, so just remember it's to the immediate left of the Clear Styles button.
Now, if content has already been added to your template and you didn't use the Paste as Rich Text option, or if content doesn't update when you apply styling to your text, what you can do is just highlight the text, as we are here, and then click Clear Styles and try again. So now we're just going to type in some text to our own template.
Give us just a moment to paste in that text. And now that we've got the text in and we've cleared the styles, we're going to make some quick editing changes. So we're going to take a moment to center the text, add a heading. Awesome. We're linking our web address so people can be sure to check out our website. And once you're done, just be sure to hit save and close. Now, moving on, when designing a template, there are a couple of places you can set the style and settings.
You can set styles like specific font and background colors that will persist throughout the entire email, or you can set styles just for certain sections of your template, like your header and your footer. To do this, you'll just click into the design menu and select style from this tab right here. And then you'll just want to select the sections that you want to work with. So all of these sections are here. Or alternatively, you can select an individual content block, as we did with our text block previously, and edit in that. So let's go ahead and say that you want to set a background color for the whole template. In our case, we want to keep a really clean, crisp look for our template, and we want to make sure all the background is white. So what we're going to do is we'll first click on the first option here, which is page. And this is where you can set default styles for the entire email page. And then we'll just click here where it says background. We're going to just change this to white. And now you can see the background color has changed. Now, each time we make a change, we'll always want to make sure to hit save before we move on. And we're going to do the same with the pre-header here, which is this section up here. And we're going to make that white and save. And we'll also do that with the footer as well. All right, looks good to us.
Awesome. Now let's go ahead and add a button to our template. The button content block creates a button in your campaign that can link to a web page or a file to download. Buttons are a great way to call out a particular link in your campaign that you want recipients to click, such as to RSVP for an event or visit your online store. In our case, we want to link our subscribers to our seasonal sale page. So let's go ahead and say something like shop now in the button. And down below that, we're going to be sure to edit our URL to point to the sale page. Now in this next style tab, we can also change the button color and set any other styling options. And we're going to choose a green just to keep with the theme of our brand colors in this template. All right, it's as easy as that. So be sure to hit save and close to apply those changes. And let's move on to talk about these social options down here. If you click on the social icons, you can see options on the right to link to your Twitter, Facebook, or other social networks, so your audience can easily find you online. You'll just want to edit the URLs like we are to point towards your own social media pages. And additionally, you can edit these further in the Style and Section tabs. So if we click to Settings and scroll down to Icon Layout, as we mentioned earlier, we're trying to keep a real clean and simple look going through our template. So we're going to select this white icon style to help maintain that consistency. All right, looks good. Let's just hit save and close to move on.
All right, so I think the template's in a really good place. And so from here, let's just preview and test this template out. As different email programs can display your content a little bit differently, we always recommend you do this before you send any campaign. Now, preview mode can give you an idea of how your template will look in your recipients' inboxes on both desktop and mobile. To enter preview mode from this designer, just click Preview and Test here, and from this drop-down menu, we'll select Enter Preview Mode. Awesome. And now you can use these tabs here to look at different views. So we've got the Desktop tab, which will show you the desktop preview of your template, and the Mobile tab, which will show you the mobile preview.
It's important to remember to check both of these previews. Mobile devices are a very popular way for people to view emails, and you should design your templates with both desktop and mobile devices in mind.
And finally here, you're going to see Inbox Preview. Before you send, you can use Inbox Preview to see how your campaign will appear in different email clients and on various devices to help avoid unpleasant surprises. All right, let's go ahead and click out of preview mode by selecting the X right here in the top right. And let's select the preview and test dropdown once more, but this time we're going to select send a test email.
This allows you to send a test template directly to your inbox to see how it'll appear in more of a live setting. Just type the email address you want to send the test to and send it on out.
All right, so let's go ahead and click out of this. And once you have everything looking just right, you will just want to select Save and Exit in the bottom right-hand corner. We'll go ahead and name our template. In our case, let's call this Seasonal Sale, and then we'll just hit Save.
That brings us back to our templates page, and now you can see it right there at the top. So we're done with this template now, and you can use it there, leave it there to use later. So before we move on, we're going to head back to slides to answer some of the frequently asked questions we got about templates. For the first question, I don't know why I should use templates. Why can't I just replicate a previous campaign?
And that's a great question. And as some of you may already know, after sending a campaign, you can choose to replicate the sent email from your campaigns page and then just resend it again. That said, as a best practice, we always recommend using a template to create a brand new email instead of replicating a past campaign. This is because some advanced campaign specifications, let's say the options to share the campaign on social media, don't always carry over and must be reapplied each time. Additionally, replication can sometimes cause unexpected issues, and because of this, we do recommend using safe templates when possible.
And for our next frequently asked question on templates, what is the difference between the font settings in the Content tab versus the font settings in the Style tab? And for this question, since you might be wondering where these are located, we're actually going to go back into the template we were working with to explain in a little more detail. So we're back in the account. We're going to click into this template to just pull up that designer again.
And as you may have noticed when we were designing this template, the styles and settings for your campaign design can be applied from a few different places. Just remember, each section in your email campaign is related to another in a sort of hierarchy. So the styles that you set in one area of the campaign builder may affect other sections. For example, every template is divided into different sections, as you can see in the Style tab. The pre-header, the body, the footer, and you can apply styles to these different sections from this Design tab in the Campaign Builder. When styles are applied to a section, they're also applied to all the content blocks within that section. And let me show you what I mean here. Select header. I'm just going to change the background color. You can see everything in the header was changed to this color.
Alternatively, if you want one of your content blocks to have different styling from the other content blocks in its section, open that content block by clicking on it directly, and you can set preferences on the Style and Settings tab for that block, seen here. Styles you apply here will override the style for the section that the content block is in. And finally, you can use the editor toolbar in each content block to fine-tune the styling on a line-by-line basis. So we're going to jump back for just a moment to our learning journey. We're now going to show you how to set up an email campaign using a template that you've created. If you're curious about other campaign types that Mailchimp offers, we're also going to talk through that in just a little bit. As we mentioned earlier, having your template on hand makes it easy to then create branded campaigns when you're ready to send out marketing content to your audience. But maybe you want to send out an email campaign using the template you created right away. So we're going to walk through that.
We're already in the templates area of our account. Here's that template that we've been working on just at the top here. From here, let's go ahead and select the drop-down menu at the far right next to it, and then we'll choose Create Campaign.
This will take you to the campaign builder with your chosen template populated in the content section. To make changes to the template, like adding in content specific to a sale for an email you're sending out, you would select Edit Design to launch the design editor. Let's take a step back and walk through all of the different elements of the campaign builder that you're seeing here, just to give you a better idea. And then we're going to jump into the design editor together.
Our campaign builder is designed to let you work on the different parts of your campaign in the order that you choose, and then review everything at once before you send. And that way, it's sort of like a checklist for your campaign. As you can see, this campaign builder takes you step by step through the checklist to add recipients, choose your settings, and design your content. As each task is completed, a green checkmark will appear next to the corresponding section.
So we're going to start by selecting our audience or who you'd like to send your campaign to. In the To section, you're going to click on Add Recipients. In the Audience drop-down menu, we'll choose the audience we want to send to. So in our case, we're going to select our retail customers. In the Segment drop-down menu, we have some different options. We can choose All Subscribers in Audience, Group or New Segment, or one of the available saved or pre-built options. We're going to go ahead and select Group or New Segment to create our own segment. We want to target subscribers who have opened up any of our last 5-cent campaigns to let them know about this sale. In choosing this segment, we know that these subscribers have been interacting with at least one of our most recent emails, so we want to reward them by including them in this sale. Let's select Campaign Activity, then Opened, and any of the last 5 campaigns. The next part's optional, but you can also check to personalize the To field box to display the recipient's name instead of their email address. When you check the box, you can choose a merge tag that corresponds with information you want to display in that To field. So, for example, if you choose Fname, a recipient named Bob will see To Bob instead of to bob@mailchimp.com.
Or in our cases, it would say to Nicole or to Kayla. And this is just a great way to make an email more personal and may help you avoid spam filters. Once everything is all set up within your audience that you'd like to send your campaign to, from here, you'll just go ahead and hit save to move on to the next step.
So next, let's set your from name and from email address. This will automatically populate with the from information you set up in each of your audience's defaults. For example, our default is sending from the potted planter at webinars@fredemail.com.
To edit or change this information for each campaign, we'd simply click Edit From, and then enter a new from name and email address. For our purposes, we want to instead send this campaign from Nicole at the Potted Planner. And this is just a great way to help personalize our from name a little bit more. Once that's done, we'll just click Save to move on.
To set your subject line and optional preview text, click Add Subject. In the subject field, enter a subject line for your email. We're going to add in, we're having a monstera of a sale. We're going to put an emoji of a plant here too. As a note, a monstera is a type of plant, and since our business is a plant store, this subject line is just a fun way to grab our audience's attention. The emoji picker is an easy way to add some visual pizzazz to a subject line, particularly on a mobile device. Now, it's good to know that different operating systems render different versions of emojis, so it's always important to test before you send. And in this preview text field, you can enter up to 150 characters that'll display next to your subject line in the recipient's inboxes. And we're going to put in something like, take 15% off your purchase. Keep in mind, this field is totally optional. Once you're all done, you'll hit save.
Now, to design the content for your campaign, you just click Edit Design. As a reminder, our template design will already be populated within the design editor. But now we can use the template as a foundation and start adding in our own content specific to this campaign that we want to send out. So for example, from here we're going to change out the image from our template by selecting the image block and then selecting replace. We're now back in our content studio again, where we can select or upload a new image. So let's find one specific to the sale and then click insert. And this one will work for us. Let's click insert. Now we can make some quick adjustments here. And once we're done, we'll just save. And next, we'll want to update the link to our sale page. So let's actually click back and select link. And then we'll correct the URL there. And from here, we'll just change the text a bit to reflect the specifics of the sale. So we'll say take 15% off. In store and online through the weekend. We'll change the button to this specific sale as well. All right, everything looks good to go.
As a reminder, it's always important to test before you send out messages to your subscribers. And so we're going to enter preview mode one more time from the designer. And to do this, you just click the preview drop-down menu and choose enter preview mode. Since our template is now being used in a campaign, you can see on the right side of the screen the header info, and this displays campaign information like the subject line and reply to email address for reference.
Now, if you're using merge tags to personalize your email and want to see how they'll look to your contacts, what you can do is simply toggle the slider to the green to enable live merge tags, and then you can scroll through your contacts to see how the email will appear for each subscriber, just like so. From here, let's go ahead and just click out of preview mode by selecting the X up here. And like you could with templates, you'll notice that you can also send yourself a test email from the preview dropdown as well. All right, so let's click out, and to do this, we'll select continue at the top right to take us back to our campaign checklist.
Underneath our checklist, you're going to see an option to add a social post to your campaign. This is an easy way to share the content from your campaign with your social followers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And before we send, let's take a look at our settings and tracking section at the very bottom here. When you create a regular email campaign, we enable certain tracking options by default. This includes options like open and click tracking, as well as e-commerce tracking if you have a connected online store. To edit the tracking options for your campaign in the settings and tracking section, you would just click edit and then check the boxes next to each of the tracking options that you either want to enable or disable.
Just be sure to save everything when you're done. And now it's time to send that email out. You can send it right away or schedule the email to send later. Select schedule to find a day and time in the future to send it out. There are also some other options in this window for scheduling and sending campaigns. These options are usually recommended for more international or high volume senders. In our case, we're ready to send now. So let's click send. In the prepare for launch module, we're going to click send now to confirm. And finally, you're going to see a high five from Freddie, and that's how you'll know your campaign has been sent out into the world. Now that we've sent our campaign, we're going to answer some common questions that we've gotten about campaigns. For our first question, is there a best time of day to send my email campaign?
And that's a great question, one we hear all the time. And there's not a straightforward answer to this, unfortunately. It can depend on what your product, your service, or your content is. And to help figure this all out, it's always best to test, test, test. Setting up multivariate, which are also known as A/B test campaigns, to send out at different times or with different subject lines is one of our top tips for testing. But even more so, in order to understand when to send to your audience, you also need to understand who your audience is, not just your content. So, who are the folks that you're sending to? What stage of life are they in? When do they have free time to scroll through promotional material on their phone or on their computers? The more that you know about your audience, the more that you'll understand their habits, their preferences, their likes, and their dislikes. And that takes us to our next question.
How do I change the default information that appears in the send section of my campaign? As you may recall, there is information set up by default when building a campaign, such as from name and email address that can be edited before sending. But perhaps you want to change your default information altogether. So we're going to show you where this would be found. As this information is pulled in from your audience, to find and edit that info in your account, you're going to want to select Audience in the top navigation menu. Make sure you're in the correct audience by double checking the drop-down on the left. Under the Manage Audience drop-down, we're going to select Settings. And here, just choose Audience Name and Defaults. From this page, you can change your audience name, from, email address, and name. And just be sure to save when you're all done. So with all that said, we're going to revisit our learning journey one last time to discuss other campaign types. Remember, as we mentioned earlier, Mailchimp's more than just email. Campaigns are any distributed content that's created and measured in Mailchimp. We're going to head back into the app to show you where you can get started with setting up other types of campaigns. You can start to create a campaign from a couple different places in your account. So here in the top navigation menu, if you select Create, you'll see a drop-down of campaign options.
Or alternatively, you can select the Create Campaign button here on the right-hand side of the page. And the only difference here is that when you click on the Create dropdown in the top left, as we did, you'll see campaign options that include our websites feature. Now keep in mind that we also have an Automate tab in our navigation menu, which you can see right here. If you click on that dropdown, you'll see an option to create a few of our automated types of campaigns, which include automated emails, ads, and postcards. So let's go ahead and just click on the Create Campaign button right here. And once you click, you'll see the list of campaign options to choose from. Just as a note, if you have a new or a free account, your access to our different campaign types and functionality may be a little bit limited depending on your plan.
The first option you can see here is email. Let's click in, and you'll see a few different types of email campaigns. The first is a regular campaign, and it's the most common type of email campaign that people send with Mailchimp, and the type we just walked through together.
Next up, there are what we call automated emails or automations. Now, different marketing platforms use different terminology, and you may have heard of automated emails called drip or triggered emails before. While a regular email campaign sends to your contacts at the time that you choose, with an automation campaign, emails are sent automatically to specific contacts as they meet your trigger and your sending criteria.
Have you ever signed up to a newsletter for a brand you're interested in hearing from, then received a welcome email shortly afterwards? That's a perfect example of an automation at work.
Now, we have automation workflows for subscriber activity. So these are emails that send to subscribers thanking them for signing up through your pop-up form, among other options, or e-commerce, where you can set up an abandoned cart email or order notifications. We just want to choose an automation type, create an email or a series of emails, and set your sending criteria. After you set up an automation, Mailchimp will manage your queue and your email sends, so your emails are getting to the right people at the right time.
Next up, we have plain text emails, which contain only text and have no additional formatting options. Plain text emails don't contain any images, rich text formatting, or embedded hyperlinks, so they're useful when you want to send a simple email featuring only your essential content.
And lastly, here in this menu, we have multivariate campaigns, which are also known as A/B testing campaigns. And you may have remember us just talking about these a moment ago in our frequently asked questions section. Now, multivariate campaigns allow you to test different versions of a single campaign to see how small changes can have a real big impact on your results. You would just choose what you want to test, like the subject line or content, and then compare results to find out what's working for you and what's not.
Now, let's talk about ads. We make it easy to create ads to drive more visibility to your brand. It's all in Mailchimp, so you can create, buy, and track results of your ads in one place. We have a couple different types of ad campaigns to choose from. With our Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns, you can create beautiful single image or carousel ads. Or if you use Google remarketing ads to help you recapture the attention of people who browsed your website or landing page, you can use those here as well. Our next campaign type is landing pages. Marketers typically use landing pages to achieve specific short-term goals. For example, you could create a landing page to promote a limited time offer or sell a specific product.
We know that sometimes people seem to be a little bit confused about why you would use a landing page instead of just linking people to your website. Now, websites usually have a lot of other things to look at, and sometimes all of that content can get a little bit distracting. By creating a landing page for your product, you can send people directly to the content that you want them to see.
So last up, we've got surveys. Surveys can help you understand your audience and their changing needs and perceptions. Add as many questions as you need, choose from a variety of answer types, and style the form to fit your brand.
Now, let's click back to see another feature that we offer, which is social posting. You can create and share a social post on Facebook and Instagram right from within Mailchimp. From Mailchimp, you can pull in images that you've uploaded to your content studio and then repurpose them to post on social. Now, we'll also have a campaign option for sign-up forms. And this is where you can create and launch pop-up and embedded forms onto your site right through Mailchimp.
Clicking back one more time, a postcard campaign will help you stand out from the crowd, and it gives people something tangible to remember you by. If you're wondering, yeah, these are physical postcards that you would receive in the mail. Postcards reinforce the messages you've sent through emails, ads, and elsewhere, which makes them a smart addition to your multi-channel marketing strategy. You can set up one-time or recurring postcards right here. Or if you have a connected e-commerce store, you can also set up postcards to send out after a customer abandons their cart. So you've set up a template and sent out a regular email campaign. You might be wondering, what's next? Take a look at your reports and make sure to analyze the data that you see.
After you send a campaign, your reports can help you understand the best time to send, as well as what subject lines and content your audience is responding the best to.
After you send an email campaign, you may want to share your content with people who aren't necessarily in your audience yet, like friends, other members of your team, or visitors to your website. A great way to share is on your social channels using our social share feature.
And finally, always be sure to test, test, test. We say this a lot. We've already said it once during this webinar, but it's important to remember. Before you send, test with proofing your content and sending your campaign to test volunteers, like other members of your team. The more that you test, the more that you get to know your audience and what they respond best to.
So let's revisit everything we learned one more time. We covered key definitions on templates and campaigns before we headed into the app to explore the Content Studio and create a template together. We then used our template to set up an email campaign.
We finished up the tutorial by walking through the other types of campaigns available to you to set up in our all-in-one marketing platform. Awesome job, everyone, and thank you so much for following along. And from here in Atlanta, Nicole and I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us today.